Hello and welcome to this video number 4 in the series of videos regarding asset management. And in this video, I'm going to talk you through how we can do the work order execution or the work order processing. In video number 2, we saw how we can create a work order based on a maintenance plan. In video number 3, I showed you how we can create work orders based on maintenance request. And today I'm going to show you how we can execute or process the work orders. And especially I'm going to focus on the mobile Power App to do so. So I'm going to go over the work order processing flow, what's required, what are the steps that you need to do to process the work order. Then I'm going to go into a demo where I actually demonstrate the Power App, how you can process that work order in the Power App, how you can start the work order, how you can get access to documentation, how you can complete your checklist, and so on. So I'll get back to that and do a demo of that. And then I'm going to show you how we can get an overview and a follow-up on the work orders. And finally, some analysis tools that are available for work orders. So when we start talk about work orders, we've seen how we can create the work orders from a maintenance request, from a maintenance plan. You can manually create it, but you also have to do some steps before we can actually send it out to the maintenance worker. So first of all, we have to create the work order, and we've seen multiple ways of doing that. Once the work order has been created based on, for instance, the service level and other things, the forecast, there might be an automatic copying from a forecast, so we know this is the typical forecasted time to do this. Based on that service level, we expect that it should start in a couple of days, and you have a week to do it. So that's part of the creation. That's part of the automation that you can get. But you also have to do some preparation. You can basically skip this part if you have set up a proper forecast for estimated hours, proper forecast for estimated spare parts. And that would typically be the case when we talk about planned maintenance jobs. Because when we have a planned service job, we typically have an average time that it takes for us to perform that job, and that would be part of the forecast. But if we have a repair job from a maintenance request, then we don't have any forecast for that. But in order for us to be able to plan, we still have to make a best guess. So part of the preparation is to make a best guess of the estimated time and a best guess on the estimated or forecasted spare parts that we need in order to do so. It's not a mandatory step, but it helps in the planning. Then we need to plan it. And part of the planning is to dispatch it, to give the work order to a specific worker and for a specific date. So we can have some expected start and end date, but then we have to plan it for what's actually possible. And you can see here that it can be presented in a Gantt chart. So as soon as I plan it for particular workers, it will come in the Gantt chart. And then if I can see I can't reach it, or there is something more important for me to do today, then I can simply move this to out in the future to another date, and that would automatically replan. Then when we've done all the preparation and schedule it for a particular worker, then we can start executing. And the mobile Power App is actually designed so it's worker specific. So when I log into my phone, I can see the work orders that have been assigned to me as a worker. And in that Power App, I'm able to, for instance, start the work order. I can do registrations, and I can complete the work order. So let's have a look at the preparation. So I'm going to go into my work order workspace that we talked about in the last video. And I can see here all my work orders. And I can see here some of the work orders that have not been scheduled. And I can also see some that have been scheduled. But I know for a fact that this conveyor service job, Jody Hicks has called in sick. So I'm going to assign it to me. So part of my preparation is to assign it to a particular worker. You can also see here that it's been scheduled for the 15th of May, but I think I'm ready or able to do it today. I can also have a look at the forecast. And I can see here we have a forecast of 3 hours. I'm content with that, but if I wasn't, I could simply edit it and say, I think I'm going to need more or less hours to do the job. And I could also put in a forecast for the spare parts that I require. So I'm going to assign this work order to me. We do it here. I dispatch it. And in this, I can also say, even though the expected start is in about a month, I can say, yes, but I think I'm going to do it today. And I'm going to assign it to Annette, which is me. And okay. So I've now prepared the work order. I have assigned it to a worker, which is in this case at me. So I'm now ready to proceed on the mobile app. The mobile Power App is a Power App developed by Microsoft, and it is as it is. It's actually quite powerful. There's a lot of things that you can do, but unfortunately, there are also a few things you can't do, and I'm gonna go over that. So I'm gonna do a demo on it, but just if you wanted to just have a look at the PowerPoint, this is just some selected screenshots from the Power App where you can see, for instance, these are the work orders that have been assigned to me. This is the jobs I need to do with the expected start and end date. This is my checklist. I can see here I performed 3 out of 7 things I need to do on the checklist. This is where I register my hours, my spare parts, and close my work order. But let's have a look at that and try it out in real life. So this is my mobile device. Here it is. I'm just going to take it up on my phone. See if we can make it a little larger. So I don't know if you recall, but we had this conveyor service 008. I'm going to open that one. You can see here the scheduled start was changed till today. I can see here that I have, which jobs do I have? I only have one job, which is the service job, but I'm now gonna start the job. And I do that by changing the work order state. And I'm gonna put it into progress. So the work order is now changed to in progress. Then I'm gonna go to the job and I'm gonna open the job. And we can actually see here, I have the possibility to add some remarks. I can see I have a checklist with 7 items I need to check off. I can also see that I have some attachment. And the attachments is actually quite powerful because that enables me to see documentation directly on my mobile application, which I need in order to perform my work. So in this case, let's have a look. What have they made available? Oh, there's a conveyor service manual because I'm doing a conveyor service. So that's actually a PDF showing that. But I also have a tracking document. So in this case, if the problem is something with the tracking on the conveyor belt, then this is some tips and tricks on how you can adjust that or fix that. So I've now started the job. And the next step I would like to do is I need to start doing the job. So I'm going to start my checklist and do my chain condition assessment. And you can see here, there are some instructions for me. And I need to replace the chain if needed. And I have the possibility to put in some notes if needed and mark as checked. So once this has been marked as checked, I can see here I've now done 1 out of 7 and it's painted green. But you can also see that some of these checks are mandatory. And a mandatory check is something that the system can be set up to evaluate. So if you have mandatory checks and you haven't checked them on the checklist, then you're actually not able to complete or close the work order. But it's entirely up to you how you want to use it and if you want to make your checklist topics mandatory or not. I'm just going to mark all of them checked. And as soon as I've done that, I need to register the amount of hours that I've spent. So you can see here now that the checklist has been entirely completed. I'm going to go back to the job. I'm going to register some hours. Let's just say I've spent 2.5 hours. And let's say that I've added some, used some spare parts. Again, if you have barcodes, you can simply scan those barcodes. But in my case, I need to find it automatically or find it manually. I have a spare part here, and I'm going to add one of those. So this is the registration part. Besides this, of course, there is some physical maintenance work that needs to be done, but this is from the system perspective, what is needed. And once I've finished all this, I can now, basically, I can close the work order. But I also have, so I'm just going to do that. I can change the work order state, say it's now complete. But what you can also see here is that if I'm out there, for instance, doing a service job and I observe something, I can actually directly create a new work order here for the asset. I can also see if there are any other jobs for this asset, even though they are not assigned to me, or I can see other jobs on this location. So this is a way for me to look around and see, is there anything else that I can do? But let's just assume that during my service or during my repair job, I found out something else that was wrong. Then I can create a new work order for the asset. I put in a description. Um, uh, and the job type is repair. And then I can simply say, I want to schedule it to me. It means not only do I create the work order, I also schedule it to me directly because I'm going to take care of it right now. And in this case, I can also add some photos if I want to. So all of this that I've showed you here is the things that I can do and that I can process using the mobile Power App. Unfortunately, there are also a few things I can't do. For instance, it's not possible for me to create fault codes um, or register fault codes on the work order in the mobile app. I cannot read counter values and update the counter values on the mobile Power App. So there are still a few things that I was expecting to find on the Power App, but it's definitely I would say it covers 95% of the things that you need to do in order to process your work orders. But let's skip this mobile and go back into the system. We go back to the list. This is the work order. We can see here that number 88, which was one that I finished. You can see here it was scheduled for me. It's now complete. And I can also, if I go to the journal, I can see that I've posted those 2.5 hours and those 2 spare parts. So let's just have a look at what's been posted. These are my 2.5 hours and my 1 spare part. So everything ends up in Dynamic 365, but it's processed in the mobile Power App. If I go back here, I can also see the work order that I created while I was out in the field or while I was out there. So these are some of the things that this is a way of you to handle and do the work order processing. Let's go back to the presentation. So there are actually a lot of overview and follow-ups that you can do related to this. I was just showing you the work order. You have the possibility to see your work orders. You can see which have been scheduled, which have been delayed, and you can process those. You can assign them. You can plan them. So this is actually your workspace for handling your work orders in the planning or in the office. We also provide, there's also some analysis. So based on the analysis, that there are some analytics in the workspace. And I'm just going to show you that very briefly. And then I'll get back to a lot more history and analysis in video number 5. So this is the workspace for work orders. And then we can open the analytics. And again, this is a Power BI workspace developed by Microsoft. But again, if it doesn't fit entirely your needs, then it's something that could be customized. But what's interesting here is that, again, you can see the work orders, how are they divided by type? So for instance, we can see here that 52% is plant maintenance, 18% is inspection, 11% is repairs. We can also see up here, did you know that the mixer is the most frequently repaired asset? Did you know that most of your work orders from this functional location? Did you know that the forklift is the most repaired asset type? And so on and so on. So this is your opportunity to look into and get some analytics regarding the work orders that you have in your system. What you can also see here is that you have 48% of planned or unplanned work orders. So there's some lot of statistics, there's some graphs, things that you can get to follow up on your work orders. And I'll get back to that in video number 5. That was all from me today regarding the work order processing. If you want to know more, please don't hesitate to call us or have a look at the other videos in the series. You can find them on AlfaPeople in the webinars folder. Thank you very much for your time.